And it's time now for our daily dose of Europe votes. Our Europe editor, Christophe Verbeek, joins us now. Christophe, final countdown.
Final countdown, I will take you to the UK as you announced today, to the United Kingdom. Yes. Actually, the British will kick off the voting marathon tomorrow on the 4th of June, along with the Dutch. Now, in the United Kingdom, these European elections will also coincide with local elections that will also, of course, be followed closely. On the eve of the vote, Britain looks like a country that's just gone through a political earthquake, of course, with the Expanse scandal, literally devastating the political establishment in the country. The biggest casualty is the Labour Party of Gordon Brown. We know that Jackie Smith, the Home Secretary, had to resign. Today, another announcement, dramatic announcement. Hazel Blears, the Communities Secretary, announced that she was resigning after accusation that she had misused taxpayers' money. Now, this, of course, is very bad for the Labour Party, with some polls suggesting that it could actually become the third party in the country after the Tories and after the Lib Dems, a humiliating blow for Gordon Brown. Now, there seem to be two big winners, according to the polls. It's the small fringe parties like the UKIP Party, UK Independence Party, and also the British National Party, which is set to at least win one seat in the European Parliament. Another winner, its abstention turnout believed to be under 20%. We'll, of course, need to check those figures. As you will see in the next story, these are very hard times for party activists. This is our report from London.
New Malden in the southwest of London, and a politician walks the streets to meet the local voters in this well-heeled suburb of the British capital. Ordinarily, Charles Tannock, a member of the European Parliament for London for the Conservative Party, wouldn't have any trouble campaigning in this Tory stronghold. But right now, the voters are angry.
I'm one of your candidates for the European Parliament. I'm your MEP, have been for 10 years.
Don't even go down that avenue. Don't even go down that avenue.
Well, this is the European election we're talking about.
I know.
David Cameron has done, I think, an extremely good job in capturing the anger and doing something about it with his MPs.
MPs are in turmoil because of the ongoing revelations of their expenses claims, which are tainting the credibility of all British politicians. This is affecting the campaign for the European elections, and Charles Tannock knows it.
Okay. Any chance you might be supporting us, you think?
To be honest, I haven't made up my mind.
The Conservatives are not going into Labour heartlands. Instead, their goal is to rebuild trust with their core voters.
It's much more important that I get our vote out. When I go to areas where there's a lot of socialists or liberals, I'm going to try and concentrate where most of my vote lies. That's inevitable.
Another district of London, another campaign. This time, it's the Labour Party's Claude Morris. He too is struggling because of the expenses scandal, but he's also got to contend with the unpopularity of Gordon Brown's government. Here in the north of London, the fear is that voters will protest by giving their vote to minority parties. To try and stop that happening, the Labour Party are using arguments which sound like they know they're going to lose.
Of course we want them to vote Labour first, but if they're not going to vote Labour, use the vote, use it for a mainstream party. That is the right thing to do.
So you're basically saying you can vote Conservative?
Well, you know, if they're going to vote Conservative, fine, it's a mainstream party.
Labour Party members are disillusioned and sceptical. Despite this, some Labour politicians are out on the campaign trail to help support their party's European candidates. They're ready to do anything. That includes not campaigning.
There's no scandal attached to me. And I will always support Claude in any way that he was. And if it is supportive of Claude for me to stay at home, I'll stay at home.
But the people who may stay at home are the voters, because in past years, the British have never been very enthusiastic about voting in European elections. And the current political climate probably won't help matters, because the expenses scandal that is engulfing British politicians may strongly affect these elections and deal another blow to the UK's relationship with Europe.
So tell us more about that, Christophe. What could the results mean for the UK's place in the European Union?
Well, to be honest, officials tonight in Brussels are a bit worried, of course. At first, there's this announced massive abstention. It's never good news for Brussels. It's never good news for the European project. If you see that barely 1 British person in 5 wants to vote and take part in the electoral process. Also, of course, if it's confirmed that smaller parties like UKIP, like the BNP, are set to make big gains, this is going to strengthen the Eurosceptics in Brussels. Also, more globally, I should say, people in Brussels will be looking at how the Tories are doing, how the Conservatives. They're notoriously more Eurosceptic than the Labour. Recently, we saw under Blair, a bit less under Brown, but still a more Euro-friendly approach. If Cameron comes back to power, probably some will fear that not comes back, he's never been in power, but if Cameron wins the election next year, it is feared that, of course, Britain will become a bit more Eurosceptic on the whole.
Yeah, as this expense account scandal has really done a lot more damage to Britain's left-wing parties than it's right. But anyway, tell us about, before we go, this the online questionnaire. We've talked about it before, to help people determine whom they should vote for in the European election.
Yeah, that's one of the funny things about these elections. You know, a lot of people are saying, I would like to take part in these elections, but I'm not very well informed. I don't know who I should vote for. I don't know who is actually representing my interests. So some groups have come up with so-called online questionnaires. It's pretty easy. Just log on, answer quite a lot of questions, I have to say. But as you will see in this report, it might help you. So we try them out for you, just for you to make up your mind. This is our report.
Who do you want to vote for in the European elections? If you don't know or haven't really followed EU politics, don't panic. The web is full of free online tests to match you up with the political party that suits you best. Here are a few examples. EU Profiler. 30 rather interesting questions available in all European languages. You'll get some economic issues. You'll have to make your mind up about politics. And of course, you'll have social questions. One problem with this test, however, is that it invites undecided voters to list the different political parties by preference, and in the end, the voter finds himself positioned on a rather complex political graph. On to the next test. Vote Match is undoubtedly the most complex online test. Elaborated by an institute specialized in voter participation, this test can be taken in 6 languages. The questions are more technical than in the other tests, but the answers are actually simpler. Though some questions can leave test takers rather perplexed, the real interest with Vote Match lies in its last page, which enables a voter to compare his opinion with that of a political party, theme by theme. On to a third test. Which European are you? This one is a quick and fun test written up by French researchers. 10 questions and you'll know which of the 8 European Parliament parties best mirrors your convictions. You'll also be matched up with the one Eurodeputee closest to you. None of these tests are down to an exact science, neither do they pretend to be, but they do have the merit to raise several interesting issues and maybe incite those who aren't sure whether they want to vote or not to go cast their ballot. Elections across Europe will be held June 4th to the 7th.
Okay, Christoph, we'll have to leave it